Hello and welcome back to the channel with me, the Orienteering Kid, where today, you guessed it, we're in Milan for day 9 of the TOREMooS Cup. Yes, we're back here for the 9th day of the TOREMooS Cup, which again is being organised by Remo Modella and can be found here on the Tempo Simulator, the link to which can be found in the description. Now with 2 days to go, the pressure is definitely getting to me. It's definitely getting very tense up the top of the leaderboard, and we will have to see what the final 2 days do to the overall results. Now we will go straight into it, however firstly I have had a request from an avid viewer of the channel for me to go through in the video some of the processes that I do in order for looking at some of the areas in Google Maps beforehand. So the first thing I'm going to do is have a look at the name of the place, and we're going to be in a place called Tre Torri today, so I'll be searching this into Google Maps. So I search it into Google Maps and we're given this little area here, and now we have to find it within the maps that Remo has supplied to us. So we have the area of maps here, and if we go back to the Google Maps and zoom out, we will see that we have this area here. Now this area, if we look at the map, is this massive area here, and now we want the small bit of area to the side of it, so it must be this little bit of section here. So if we come into the area of Google Maps that we have and we hover the man over the area, we'll see it lights up in a load of blue sections, and because part of the photos today will be on Street View, we can use these areas to try and have a look at the map and guess where some of the stations will be. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to show the whole process of me doing it, but I'm going to cut it down and sort of show you the couple of areas that I think might be stations today. Now the first place that I think might be a station is over here. Now this is a bit of a long shot, however if we are looking at this sort of area here and we zoom out slightly, there is the potential for the use of the many paths here. There's a couple of areas of open land, there's potentially a wall here that could be used, and the stairs, and a few trees around as well. So I think there's definitely the potential here to have 6 locations of controls. The photo is a bit dark however, so it might be a bit cruel within the Tempo Simulator trying to locate some of the locations. But if we have a look at the map, I believe this section of map is down here. It is very blurry, so in terms of looking at the map it is quite hard to see the areas. For the purposes of this, we are stood on this corner and we are looking towards the water fountain, which you can see here, and you can see the 3 different paths coming off with the staircase, although it's not very clear on this map, going in the middle one, as so 1, 2, 3 and the staircase in the middle. This bit of paved area is also mapped on the left hand side, so a control could potentially be on those corners, and these couple of trees are also mapped on the right hand side, and if we walk through we'll see that the first tree is here with the second one in the line and the one back, so we can go back to the place we were stood where we think the station might be, and we can see that this tree is the first tree and the second tree is just behind it, and the third tree is to the right hand side of it, just like here, with the first tree and the second tree being quite close together and the third tree to the right of it. However, as I say, the photo is quite dark, so I'm not completely convinced that this might be a station, but if he's struggling for areas and he's found this, then it could be a good one. Now the second one I've potentially found would be great for all of you that love counting trees. This is it. It's quite central in the map, it's on the main path, and it's the area that's got quite a few trees in the paved area. So if you look at the map, it's probably these few trees here, and for reassurance, this bit of water at the bottom can be seen just there. Now what I think the best view for this is to zoom it out slightly and look at it sort of in the northeasterly direction. So you have these 3 trees on the paved area, and you've also got a tree here, a tree there, and a third tree down there. Now if we look at the map, we'll see that the 3 trees on the paved area that we can see are these 3, and the 3 trees on the grass are those 3 there. So we can't actually see the 4th tree in the line, and so if this was a station, I would expect a task to be on that tree, as it's not in the photo and it's quite a good task. You will also see that this area of scattered trees at the back is all these trees in the background there, so potentially there might be a control on the edge of these scattered trees, so that would be that there. Also note that these 2 lampposts are not on the map, and so if there is a control on there, that is definitely a 0. And then finally, this is the other potential view that I have managed to find within the area. It's quite a nice view looking out over the bit that we were just in with the trees on the paved area there. It is quite blurry to the right hand side, although I don't think that really affects the solving of the task, because if we look at the map, we are stood about here with the fence in front of us looking out over here. We have this bit of paved area off to the right hand side here where it goes a bit grey, and there's also this bit of kind of stairway, but it's not used as stairs, on this part of the map here, so there could be a control on there as well. There's also a lot of trees on the paved area in the centre, as I said, and potential corners of open land could also be used. But note again that these lampposts are not on the map, and so if any controls are on them, they are definitely not going to be used as tasks. So yeah, that was my insight into a couple of areas that could be stations today, and now we'll go back onto the system to have a go at the event. So yeah, let's go into the 9th day, which today has, again, a 1 to 4,000 map, but it's 4 stations instead of 3, and note that the photos will be Street View and other, so it's potential that some of the areas that I looked at will be stations. However, there will also be other photos used rather than Street View that I had no chance at looking at beforehand. There is also, again, a zero tolerance of 4 meters within the suburban area. Now, finally, there aren't any instructions based on the map today. However, for Station 4 there are 6 yellow stripes on the top in order to help you see the flags in the terrain, so it'll be interesting to see what he's come up with there for the final task. I'm expecting quite a wide one with some small controls. So yeah, as always, all my answers will be going in the right hand corner of the screen so you can see exactly what I'm putting at the moment I do. And yeah, with that we'll take on day 9 of the TOREMooS Cup. And here is Station 1. Okay, so we have the stairway with the bush at the corner over there. End of the wall is Delta. It's completely the wrong side of that. End of that area is Foxtrot. On the canopy must be Bravo. And end of the wall on that side is Echo. Yeah, that was a fairly interesting station, to be honest. It's in the urbanised area, which I didn't have a look at before and possibly should have done. I think the task with Bravo or Zero was quite hard. I think it was on the corner of the canopy, however it easily couldn't have been, and I might have got that one wrong. But 16 seconds isn't too bad if I've got them all right. And we will go on to Station 2. So that's the area. There's a bit of open land at the back, and we want that wall. Nothing's on it. That corner there, wall goes through canopy. That's got to be. I'd say that's got to be Alpha. I'm going with it. Different bush. Delta. And is it over there? Yes, it is. So 28 seconds was very slow for that. I've potentially got one of them wrong, but I was trying to check whether it was Alpha or Zero, and I think I should have just really gone for Alpha straight away because that was the answer I was going to put. But yeah, that's that, and I've still done it in less than a normal penalty time, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Again, it's better to be completely right than adding on 30 seconds for every wrong answer. And with that, we will go on to Station 3. So this is the other side of the area I was going to talk about, with the 2 bits of that end of the is Charlie. That's miles away. That bit of paved area we talked about, that bit there, and it's the second bench. So we're back on a bit of a quick time there, with half the time of the previous station actually, but I think that was good. We were obviously looking at the other side of the channel of paved area that I had looked at as the 3rd possible station, so we had identified that bit of paved area near Delta, so that was quite a quick answer there. And I do like what he did with putting the task on the 2nd set of benches instead of the 1st one. I thought that was good. And then finally we have Station 4. So that is definitely not Street View, but that is 6 controls, and we want that bit is Delta, that bit over there is definitely a 0. We come across here, that bit of corner must be Bravo, that bit over there is again a 0, And which set of trees? It's Echo. So yeah, 79 seconds. Again, does seem slow, but again with 4 stations that would be potentially high. Let's go have a look at the stations for today. So station 1 was definitely an interesting one to start with. It's clear that we have this bit of bush and the stairwell, which is this bit of bush and the stairwell, and we want the end of the wall that the stairwell is on. So I think that is clearly delta at the bottom of this set of stairs. So yeah, I think that was quite a nice easy task to be starting with. And then we get sent to the other side of the area and we want the upper part of some stairs. Now that should have instantly be telling me there's no stairs by Alpha, so it's definitely not Alpha. For another bit of reassurance, Alpha is on the right hand side of some fencing and the control we want is on the left hand side of some fencing, so the staircase must come up about here. So that one is a 0. We then go back across the other side, and I had clocked this at the start that Foxtrot was on a corner of some fencing. However, I possibly should have done this slightly quicker because of that, but it is clearly on this corner of some fencing and it's clearly on the western outside corner of the fencing, so it must be Foxtrot. And then we come across the other side, and I was very tentative with this because in previous days when we've had corners of canopies and stuff, it's not been completely clear whether the control is 4 meters away or not. I'm definitely debating it now because I don't necessarily think it's clear whether Bravo is on this fence, the other side of the fence, or it is actually back and near the corner of the canopy. If it's back and near the corner of the canopy, it's definitely Bravo. If it's actually at the edge of the fence, it is a 0, and I'm not really sure which one it is. So I'm going to leave that till later to discuss that one, because I will find out whether it's Bravo or 0 and if I've got that right or wrong. And then finally we have the end of a wall, and centre of circle definitely rules out Charlie from this bit because Charlie is miles away from the centre of the circle. Just is it Echo? So I would potentially put in a southwest arrow because we want the southeastern end of wall, but we want the southwestern one, and I believe that is this one which Echo is on, so that must be Echo. So yeah, that could have been an easy station to come in with, but with 14 I'm still very skeptical about where Bravo actually is, so I don't know whether that is Bravo or 0. We will see. So then we come to station 2, and you'll see that the second task was the one that took more than half of my time on the station, but we will get to that. But I think the first one is clear. We want a bend in the wall, and if we're looking here, we obviously have these 2 bits of wall and a narrow channel, so we must come up here. And if you glance up, you may think it's Echo, and I won't be surprised if you think it's Echo because it looks in about the right place. However, I believe Echo is on this corner here, which is here, and the corner that we want further back is about where these people are stood, so I believe that is a 0. But this one did take me a lot of time to think about. I was trying to work out the canopies a bit. I was looking at this and thinking, is it the corner of the building instead of the corner of the fence? However, the control description definitely says corner of fence, and I should have really read that and gone with it straight away. However, I was trying to work out exactly where this building is, but now looking at it I'm wondering if it was this bit back there, and so it is definitely Alpha wherever this bit of building is because we want the corner of the fence, and Alpha is on that corner of the fence. And the control description is right, as north goes downwards this time. We want the southwestern corner which Alpha is on, so it must easily be Alpha, and I don't know why I spent that long deciding over it, and that's definitely cost me a few places today. We then have task 23, and we want the end of a bush. Charlie is definitely on the end of a bush, but Charlie is on the end of the first bush, and we want the end of the second bush, which is just hidden around there, so that must be another 0. The next task then brings us out to the front corner that we've identified before, so that must be Delta right in front of us. And then we go across to the other side, and it took me a couple of seconds to try and work out if it actually was Foxtrot, because I did have in my mind that it was on that corner. It does look a bit too close for my liking. However, it is on that corner, and if we look through we can see that the line of sight kind of works with it, so it must be Foxtrot. So yeah, I think that was quite a hard station. To be honest, I think what threw me was I would have mapped Alpha as a fence rather than this big black line of the wall, but I think that was solvable, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We then come to station 3, which I did say was a similar view to what we'd looked at before. I think we were stood over here last time looking out that way. So we come in and we've got these two ends of open land, and we want one of them in this task. But which one do we want? We want the left hand one, and Charlie is on the end of the left hand one. So this task must be Charlie. And then we get sent Mars to the left, and with Alpha being on this corner here, just above the Charlie kite, there is nothing to the left of Alpha, and so this staircase that we want must be quite a long way over here. So I think this was quite an easy 0, and I don't really know whether there was a trick that Ramo was trying to play here, but I don't think there's really any set of stairs in the circle, so I think this was possibly a distraction technique trying to throw us off course. And we then come back and we have the bit of paved area that we discussed here, and we want the southern inside corner of open land, which Delta is clearly in, so I think that one is a Delta. And then we come back along and we have this corner of open land which Bravo is on, near the set of trees that we had set before. So yeah, I think that is very clearly a Bravo. And then finally we have what I would say is the hardest task of this station, and we want the inside corner of a thicket. Echo is very clearly on the inside corner of a thicket, but I believe it is the wrong one, because if we take the end of open land which Foxtrot is on and we look slightly to the right of it, we'll see there is a bit of paved area cut out, which is this bit of paved area here with the benches, and Echo is on the inside corner of the thicket on that bit of paved area. So I believe Echo is actually here on the first one rather than the second one, which looks like it's about here where that bench is. So yeah, that was definitely the hardest task in this station, and again, we said this yesterday, he's put in a couple of tasks that you can do really quickly and then tried to fool you at the end by putting it on the wrong feature. But yeah, I thought again that was another good station. And then we come to the final station, and we obviously have the 6 yellow lines and the 6 kites here. It's quite an interesting view again, coming from the top of another building I think, and we're looking at this hill, and we have the southeastern corner of some open land. Now if we're looking at the shape of the hill, we've got these stairs that I think we talked about actually being stood here for a station potentially. We have the stairs coming up which are here, and we have the bend in the path, and then we go up and we have the first inside corner of open land that we hit, which must be here, and so Delta is the answer to the first task. And then we go right the way off to the right hand side, and we have the foot of some stairs. Now definitely Foxtrot is on the foot of some stairs, but I don't think it's the right foot of stairs, because where the centre of the circle is, I don't think you even need the control description here, because it's where 2 paths cross in a crossing, and Foxtrot is just on one path in the middle of the path, so it's definitely at the foot of the other set of stairs, and the location we want is about here, so that is a 0. We then come back to the centre, we have the staircase we've talked about before, and we want the junction just above it, and we want the southern inside corner, which Bravo is on this side, so that one must be Bravo. And then we come to the corner of some paved area, and we want the southwestern inside corner. Now if you're just looking to the left hand side as he's making you move to the left hand side, you would be putting Alpha straight away because it is on the southwestern inside corner of some paved area. However, if you look at the shape of the paved area, it's square, so I believe it's on this bit of paved area, and then on the other side of the road we have the control circle on this rectangular but sort of trapezium shaped piece of paved area, which is this bit here just at the edge of the photo. So I would like the control to be here, not over there, so that would be a 0 again. And then we come back across and we have between 2 trees, and this is definitely the cruelest problem of the day because it's an exercise in tree counting and all the trees are quite small and merge a bit with the area. But we want the between 2 trees here, and is it Charlie or Echo, because they were both between 2 trees? Well, if we work up from the staircase, we have this patch of 4, which you can see here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have these 2 trees, which is the 2 trees that Charlie is between. Then we go back down the hill and we have the 2 trees which are down here, and then back up again and we have these 2 trees which Echo does seem to be in between, so I think the answer to that last task is Echo. So yeah, overall this was definitely the most interesting station of the day, and I think it's probably the hardest station of the day because this task in itself was very hard, although this task here I still have completely no idea whether Bravo is on the fence or under the canopy. So yeah, with that, let's go and have a look at the final results of today. Again, I don't know where I am. I've possibly made 1 or 2 stupid errors, and 14 I don't know if I've got right right or wrong. So I could be quite low today, and spending 15 seconds on one task is too long for me. So I could be really anywhere. And let's have a look. And I am down, and I am 34th, joint with Christoph and John. That is an interesting outcome. I think probably is going to be the Bravo task in Station 1 that I've got wrong, but we will see what happens with that. And I will join you again later for the final results. And we're back. It's the end of the day, and as expected I did drop a bit further down to 51st, and it does look like it was just the one mistake in today's event, just checking the rest of the stations there. And if we scroll up to the top, firstly, well done to Eric for winning the event. It looked like he snatched the win there in the last station, coming first on it with 16 seconds, so well done to him. Now we'll go through and have a look at some of the station percentages. Here is Station 1, and a column is forming on the fourth task, but really quite a lot of them were very well answered, and actually this column was only 57% of you getting it right and 243 of you putting Bravo instead of the correct answer. Now this was the one that I particularly couldn't really tell the correct answer to, so we were going to go and look at that anyway, but that's definitely shown that that was a hard task to complete, so well done if you got that right. The second station then, we're scrolling, and it's looking like the third task was maybe the worst answered. Yes, it was, with only 63% of you getting that one right and 215 of you going for Charlie instead of the right answer. And it was also potentially the first task as well that there was a fair spread of answers really for wrong answers, most of you putting Delta as the incorrect answer, but 442 of you managed to get it right with 0, so well done to all of you. So we'll have a look at those two tasks, and then for Station 3, scrolling, and it's looking quite clean apart from the final task, and yeah, 96, 92, 93, 94, all very good percentages, and only 73% for the final task. That's still very high for the hardest task in the station, and only 151 of you went with Echo rather than the correct answer of 0. So we'll briefly look at that one, although that was the one on the wrong corner of the paved area, and I think I explained that quite well beforehand. And then finally Station 4, and it's still looking very green. It looks quite spread actually, the wrong answers, but again 87% was the lowest percentage on this station, so this was actually very well answered from all of you, and I don't really think I need to go back and have much of a look at that station. But we'll go and have a look at the stations. Now the first one to talk about was my mistake with 14, putting Bravo instead of 0. I think you can see here that it's very clear that Bravo is meant to be on the fence rather than in the canopy, and I think I can see that now. If it was going to be on the inside corner of the canopy, it would be the other side of this post, about there. I'm not surprised many of you got that wrong, because that was definitely hard to grasp a bit of depth during the competition, but I do think it is very clearly in the wrong place now, so I think that's a fair problem. Now it was the 2 zeros that caught the most people out here. Now obviously the first task in every station is always going to have a bit of difficulty to it as you're trying to get your bearings of the course. However, there were a spread of wrong answers here, mainly with Delta, Echo and Foxtrot. Now I mentioned Echo potentially, you might have looked up and just seen that Echo was in about the right area, so you'll put Echo because you think it's about there. Others I think might have put Delta, because Delta is on a bend in the wall that looks about the same shape as the location we want. However, if it is Delta, where is this bit of wall to the right hand side, because it's just been mapped as paved area? Delta is very clearly on this corner with the channel of paved area, so that one can't be Delta. And some of you put Foxtrot, and I can also see that Foxtrot could easily be a wrong answer for this. However, if you're looking at it now, you would see that the shape of the bend that Foxtrot is on is a different shape to the bend that we want here. So I think all three of those answers you could have easily put instead of 0, but after going through all three of them, it is very clearly a 0. This was the other one that many of you got wrong in this station, and again, I'm not surprised. If you're moving at speed, you would just see it's the western end of a bush, and you would see that Charlie is on the western end of a bush, and so you just put Charlie straight away. However, it is clear that there are no bushes to the right hand side of Charlie on this bit of open land, so Charlie must be on the first one, which is the one outside this circle, so Charlie is here, and the location we want is on the next bush along, which you can't actually see in the photo. Those couple of trees is the start of the scattered trees patch here, so the bush that we want is miles round the corner of this building and you can't see it. That is clearly a 0, but again, I'm not surprised many of you got that wrong. The rest of the tasks were well answered there. I think most of you managed to get alpha, even if it did take you a while like me, so that does look like it was very good. Now, again, most of the tasks here were very well answered. It was just the final task that most of you got wrong, and I did touch on this before. Echo is clearly now on the wrong corner of the thicket, but it's the same shape to be the right corner of the thicket. It's just too close to the end of the open land here that Foxtrot is on, and is on the corner of the first set of benches rather than the second set of benches. So I think you can clearly see now that it is definitely a 0 and not Echo. But again, moving at race speed, I'm not really surprised many of you put Echo, because it does again look like the right place, and that is a very good trick by Ramo putting that in there. And actually, really, I don't really need to touch on most of the fourth station because it was very well answered, so very well done to all of you. I think the 2 zeros were fairly clear though, and even this last one, it was quite easy to obtain the last answer even if it took you a small while. So yeah, that was very good from all of you. I think overall the day was great. I'm still annoyed at myself for getting this canopy one wrong. It is the canopy ones that I tend to get wrong, but I am learning that they tend to be zeros, although saying that tomorrow there'll be a canopy one and it won't be a 0, but we will see. And now finally we're going to look at the overall results for the whole series. Firstly, the individual results, and you'll see that my lead has grown slightly to about 10.9 points. However, Ralph has managed to overtake both Pavel and Alessio in today's event and go straight up to second by 0.02 points. So this title race is very close. There's only 0.4 points between second, third and fourth, so it will be interesting to see who manages to come second and third tomorrow. But in terms of first place, as long as I score more than 89.1 tomorrow, I guarantee to win this TOREMooS Cup, and that's only if Ralph wins. So we will see whether Ralph can pull it off tomorrow. The next thing we'll look at, which I haven't actually looked at before, is the club and the country results. And you'll see that, as I've said with many events, Massey have absolutely stormed it. They're almost 100 points ahead of the second place team, which is my team MDoc, and they are doing really well. And then in third place, it's the Germans with MTV Season. But again, that could easily change tomorrow. With all events counting, it is crucial that every day we all get a good result. But just looking through, Massey have basically won every event, apart from 6 where they came second. But by winning every event, they're just taking the event by storm, and well done to all 11 members of that team. And then finally, the countries, and you could have probably guessed this from the previous page, but the Italians with 112 members are completely winning the countries league, and again have won every single day of the cup so far. And then we have the Finnish in second, and the GB just behind them in third, and the Germans even closer behind them in fourth. So tomorrow's event is definitely looking very crucial for all 3 different categories of competition, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the last day of this cup. So yeah, that is the end of today's video. If you would like to like the video and also subscribe to the channel, it's just one click of a button for you. It helps me out a lot, and you also get notifications for every video that I will release. And make sure that you're commenting any extra analysis that you think I have missed from the video, or any suggestions you have for this video, and I will see you again tomorrow for the final day of the TOREMooS Cup.